Okay, here we want to straighten the grain of the fabric. So primarily what we start out doing is trying to find the lowest point, because we want the fabric to, we want a thread to go from one, if I pull a thread, I want that thread to go from one end of the selvage. If I pull this, see? If I want it to go from one end of the selvage being the end, the woven part of the fabric. So I want it to be able to go from one end all the way to the other end of the fabric. Okay, so if we start with finding the lowest point, then we're not constantly, going back to try and cut. So I'm looking at the fold where when I purchased this fabric and the salesperson cut it. See, this is the fold, and I am looking, thinking that that's the lowest point right now. So I'm going to take one of the threads and I'm going to start pulling it to see if I can get a line going on one end, and then I will pull from this side to the other end. Then I'll see if I can get a thread that goes all the way across. Alright, so that's what we're going to do first, and you'll see the results as I pull the thread. Then I'll cut, come back, pull the thread again, cut, and I'll show you that as I progress. Okay, see, I pulled one of the threads, and you can see the line forming because that's coming from the black. So on the white, you can see how the line is forming. So I'm just going to cut on that line until until I don't see a line again, right? So that's what I'm going to do first. Start cutting, get my shears, which are right here, and I'm going to cut on the line. I'll be careful not to cut the rest of my fabric. So I'm going to push the fabric over, get a good spot, and then that way I can just cut right there on the line. See the line here, until I no longer see a line, and then I'll come back and pull another thread and do the same thing until I reach the end. All right. Okay, so you see what this looks like? I've cut along on that thread that I formed, see? And I don't see a line anymore. So basically I'm going to pull another one of the threads, pull it up just like this. See how I pulled? So here we have a thread. Now I'm going to pull it again. Usually I use the two hands, but I've got one where I'm holding this camera. So I want you to see this. See how I pull? And it just forms gathers, right? And as long as I pull, as long as the thread doesn't break or snap, I can continue to pull. So see, it just broke. And now I'm going to smooth this out. Smooth it out. And I will have the line. You'll be able to see the line that formed. All right, so I'm going to cut on that line, and then come back, pull another thread until I get to the end. Okay. Here's a good case. I thought I found the lowest point where the thread where I could start cutting and wouldn't have to continue to go back and find another low point. But as I pull that thread, look what happens. It ended right here. So I still have a small amount to get across to the end. So that wasn't the lowest point. So now I'm going to start right here, pulling one of these threads until it goes. I'm going to go back this way. Okay, so there's no point in me continuing to cut because I already know that that wasn't the lowest point because it ended somewhere before the end of the fabric. All right, so we're going to start at this end. Okay, so as you see, I'm nearing the end, and I wanted to show you kind of what this looks like so you won't be surprised when it's happening to you. Basically, see, here's the line that I've been cutting on and pulling. Here are my little remnants, right? So that's what happens sometimes. And this is not bad because this is just what, half an inch that I'm cutting off, so which isn't bad to get this fabric on grain. So I am finishing this off, and then I should be able to have a thread that comes from one end to the other. So I wanted you to see what that looks like. Okay, so basically, see, I'm cutting on the line, get my shears. Okay. How that works, just cutting on the line until I get to the very end. Okay. Okay, now all cut off, and what I want, like I said, is a thread that comes from one end to the other. So I'll pull, see, I'm pulling a thread here. I didn't cut it very good, did I? Okay, so now I'm just pulling off pulling off the excess. And now I should be able to pull the thread. So sometimes you have to pull it a bit. There, see? There, I have one. See if I can get this to go. It's just having a little issue because of the several layers that I created here. Alright, that one didn't work. So I will pull, find another one. Alright, so see, it's just a matter of going in pulling it. Alright, see, this is what we have. Okay. And now we're going to take this and see if we can go from one end to the other. See, it ends up picking up 2 or 3 because that's where the line starts, the lowest point again. So see, we want to go, okay, push it over so you can see. Sorry about the shadow. Okay. And just pulling this thread. We've got several because that's the lowest point, right? And see how you can start to fringe a piece of fabric? Put that fringe on it, see all of that? Because at some point I had to go lower than where this is. So that's why I'm getting 4 threads. But anyway, that lowest one is taking me all the way across. Push it back up on the table so you can see. I hate to have fringe because it just makes it a little tighter. That's why I like to cut on it. But it's fringing. But it's going all the way across, so see. Even though I have what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Okay, see? See, it's just a little snug, but pulled it out. And here's the last one. That's it. Okay, so I will press this, but I'll do the other end do the exact same thing so we have it straight. And then what we'll do, because this is a piece of linen, we'll pre-shrink it. So from here, I will take this fabric and put it in some cold water in the sink or bathtub, and just put it in the water till it's totally immersed in the water, all the fabric. And then I'll either put it in a dryer or hang it across the shower curtain for it to dry. All right, so next time you see me, I will have, maybe I'll just take it to the sink and show you what I'm doing. All I'm doing is immersing it in some cold water, letting it get totally wet, okay? And then squeezing it out and taking it out, putting it in a dryer on low, and then taking it out and pressing it. That's called the pre-shrinking. So see what we have left? We just have this piece of remnant that I'm trashing. Take the threads off. I have to have it nice and neat over here. Trash it. Have my little trash can right on the side. Okay, so now we'll do the same thing to this. Okay, and I'll show you the end result of that. All right. Okay, so I'm showing you again what to expect it to look like, so you're not surprised. See the thread? This is on the other end. See how I've been able to gather it? So I'm going to continue that, and see, I started cutting right here, just cutting it off along the line. You should have that by now, right? And you're probably tired of me showing it to you, but I just want to make sure you got that. All right, because this is very important to have this grain, this fabric, the grain of the fabric straight. All right. Okay, I finished straightening the edge of the other side of the fabric. So basically, we should be able to get one thread, and it goes all the way across. We've already done that. Here's one here. See, so it goes all the way across. I know I'm spending a lot of time on this because this definitely needs to be done. And once that's done, see how it goes all the way across? All the way across to the other end. Okay, now we stop it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the sink, and we are going to wet this, immerse this in water, and then I'm going to put it in the dryer on low. Then we'll be able to come back out. Next steps will be to press it, turn it on the, and I'll show you that where we make sure we fold it correctly. But right now, next step, immerse it in water, put it in the dryer or hang it over the shower rod and let it dry. All right. Okay, so I'm running water in my bathroom sink, and once that, and it's cold water. So once I'm just going to immerse the fabric into the cold water. Make sure it's completely wet. There are no dry areas. Okay. Totally immerse it in water. That's all we're doing. This is a woven fabric. It's linen, 100% linen. And I'm pre-shrinking it so that once so it won't shrink dramatically after I've worn it and I put it in the cleaners, or if I decide that I'll wash it. Okay, sorry. Now you can probably hear me better, right? So totally immerse it in water, making sure that there are no dry areas. Just lifting it up. Making sure I've got it all wet. See, this could be a dry area, but it's pretty absorbent. And once that's done, I'm just going to squeeze it and then put it in the dryer. Okay, so just totally make sure it's all wet. Okay, sometimes it may take a little longer, and you're just going to check it for dry spots. And once you notice that there are no dry spots, and sometimes the different fabrics are hard to tell, but this particular one, and I can tell it's pretty absorbent. All right, so we're done with that. I'll squeeze it out and put it in the dryer. Okay, I've squeezed out the water. See, this is in a ball. Don't have to wring it like I'm wringing like a rope. It's just pretty absorbent. Pretty much out. So now I'll go to the dryer. I'll shake it out, put it in the dryer, and let it dry. All right. Pre-shrinking our fabric. That's what it's called.